Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mrs. Adams.
Hi there. I thought you two were on your way to the party.
We were. We got halfway to Brian's house before we remembered that I left the salad home.
Jeff, you're as forgetful as your mother. I think it's on the bottom shelf of the refrigerator.
Yeah, here it is. We'd better hurry, Lisa. Thanks, Mom. Bye.
Goodbye, Mrs. Adams.
Goodbye. Have a good time. Why do I have to get this lump in my throat every time Jeff drives off on a date? After all, he is practically a man now. He's just going to a party with good friends, thank goodness. It would make me feel more secure if I could have a heart-to-heart talk with every girl Jeff dates. Then I could reassure myself that they would understand how much influence they have on him. It seems Jeff has special feelings for Lisa. The goofy way he acts gives him dead away. I wish I could write her a letter. Wouldn't Jeff be furious if I did such a thing? I can just hear him say, "Mother, what's the matter? Don't you trust me?" I know, because that is an echo from a few years ago when I was saying the same thing to my parents. Oh, I could never send such a letter. Mothers just aren't supposed to do that sort of thing. Still, if I could, if I ever dared take the risk of my son never speaking to me again, there are some things I would like to be sure Lisa understands. Let's see. Maybe it could go something like this. Dear Lisa, today as I watched you and Jeff drive away in the car, I could see why Jeff is so captivated with you lately. I couldn't help but notice that you seem to return the feeling. Since you are a special friend of Jeff's, I hope you don't mind if I tell you a few things about him and some of my feelings. You may not believe this, but it hasn't been so long since I was 16 that I can't remember looking at the guys and sizing them up. I suspect that what you see in Jeff is a good-looking guy with access to a respectable car, who is smart, athletic, mannerly, active in the church, spiritual, funny, charming, and dynamic. Of course, this is from his mother's perfectly unbiased point of view. When I was your age, a guy of 17 seemed so mature and sure of himself. I'll bet Jeff seems that way to you. In many ways, he is mature. But will you let me show Jeff to you from a different point of view? It was only 17 short years ago that Jeff, a tiny bundle wrapped in blue, was laid in my arms, and for the first time I became a mother. I was so thrilled as I looked in his tiny face to think Heavenly Father had let me have the chance to raise one of his spirit sons. I was so thankful for his perfectly formed body and the alert look on his face. I used to look deeply into his eyes and try to see what he was really like. I would set goals for him, small ones, like being President of the United States, or maybe a prophet. On the way, he could be a star athlete, a dynamic church leader, a concert pianist. He would be popular, work marvelous creations, and last but not least, he could become a millionaire. Oh, it was fun to dream, but I did know enough to be realistic. His father and I, most of all, wanted to teach him the gospel and have him be obedient. Whatever else he accomplished in life would be second in importance to his keeping the commandments. So we started off on our adventure of parenthood. Before he could toddle, we began his missionary savings account. Missionary was probably the first big word he ever learned. He soon was adding his nickels and dimes to the savings account, and every once in a while he would make a comment about, "When I go on my mission." He was planning the color of his missionary suits by the time he was 7. At home, we tried to set a good example. We have had many good times with Jeff and his brothers and sisters. They adore him. Whatever Jeff does is what they want to do. Home evenings have been part of our lives since Jeff was a tiny baby. We knew we needed help raising Jeff, so we were sure he was always to primary, and Sunday school, and priesthood. There were also Cub Scout pack meetings to attend, and awards to earn. We struggled through merit badges, hikes, camp trips, and more merit badges, until at last he emerged as an Eagle Scout. We even made him take piano lessons. We soon discovered that he would never be the concert pianist I had dreamed of, but at least he will be able to pound out a few hymns when he is a missionary. For many years, his family was the center of his life. What Mom and Dad said carried a lot of weight. He made us glad because for the most part he wanted to do as we taught him. Then he became a teenager. A very independent spirit started to emerge. In many ways this is good, because he became self-motivated at some things. However, suddenly Mom and Dad weren't quite so smart as they used to be. What Mother thought looked good no longer mattered nearly as much as what friends thought looked good. He has had a lot of good boyfriends to keep him on the right path. A couple of years ago, I noticed that the girls were becoming at least as influential as the boys. Now I would say girls, especially you, tip the scale. When Jeff was little, I watched him like a hawk to keep him from getting hurt. I pulled him out of the street, kept him out of ditches, and locked the matches in a safe to keep him from lighting fires. I still try to warn him, not only about physical dangers, but spiritual dangers as well. Sometimes I wonder how seriously he is listening. It's a little hard to be a mother and slowly realize it is time to step into the background and allow others to take over. Because what you say is so important to him right now, you, in a sense, can sort of become his guardian. Jeff has set his goal for a mission and a temple marriage. For 17 years he has walked the path to reach the goals. His friends, both boys and girls, have helped him, mostly because they have the same goals. But there is one area of experience that he is relatively untried in. He has never been very serious about any one girl. When you entered the picture, that started to change. Because he cares for you in a way new to him, you have more power than any friend has ever had to build him up and push him forward toward his goals, or to pull him away from them. From what he has told me, you have a deep testimony, and so I think you understand why we want so much for Jeff to have a chance to share the gospel with others. Please, in your conversations, encourage him to go on a mission. The Lord needs him. Help him grow spiritually. Help yourself be close to the Lord. If Jeff knows you approve of his goals, it will give him added incentive. Help him be smart with his money. He would probably like to throw it around to impress you, but his mission account still needs a lot of attention. Help him choose places to go on dates that will be fun and full of action. Keep him away from dark, quiet, and suggestive places. You are at the time of life when boys and girls discover the God-given feelings of physical attraction. Insist on keeping your standards, even if you think he wishes you would let down just a bit. In the long run, he will love you for it. Music, movies, and dress fashions encourage you to let these feelings rule your actions. You and Jeff are among the fortunate ones who knows there is something infinitely better. Please help each other keep the goal of moral cleanliness foremost in your minds. You are a daughter of God. You can be a shining light in Jeff's life if you set the right example. Obey the dating rules set up for you. They are to help keep you out of situations where the power of emotion might overrule your intellect. If you would kneel down and tell Heavenly Father before every date that you will make sure Jeff remains worthy and clean to function in his priesthood callings, and keep your promises, both of you will be glad for the rest of your lives. Whether your friendship with Jeff lasts only a short time or happens to grow until you are the one he wants to spend eternity with, Jeff will always be glad for your influence in his life. Realize your power and use it for good. Thank you for letting me share my feelings with you. I know you will understand. In a few years, perhaps a tiny bundle will be placed in your arms. Then you will more than understand. You will live it all again. May joy follow you through your life. Love, Jeff's mom.